For those watching the video, they can go to your campaign and we'll have a link to it and they'll see that you've done incredibly well. How much do you think luck plays into it, and how much of it is the team that you have and the hard work?
Well, I will always take any luck that's coming my way, but it's like the old saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And where the luck comes in, I think, is if you hit the zeitgeist, if you hit a feeling that people have now where this movie that we're making resonates with them. You know, is it the right time for this? I mean, sometimes you'll see a movie and it'll be years ahead of its time and it doesn't do well, and then like years and years later, it does like crazy good on DVD and download and cable because now it's the right time, you know. And then you'll see some movies that come out and they're just kind of dated and you've seen them before and you're like, oh, this would have been great 20 years ago. You know, oh gee, your movie about, you know, somebody coming out of the closet and having a gay marriage, that's cutting edge 30 years ago, you know, so it has to be really, really good if it's not like super fresh. So the luck has to do with timing. Are you hitting the mood of enough people in the country so that they like your idea? But I tell you one thing we do feel is grateful. Anytime somebody puts in small investment, big investment, whatever it is, we feel really grateful and obligated to make the best use of their investment that we can. We have a philosophy, and I talk about this on the investment page. Our philosophy is put it up on the screen. When money goes into a movie and you have a budget, that budget is allocated to different things. You're hiring the crew, you're paying actors, you're renting locations, you're doing all these things that need to be done. You're purchasing insurance, you're paying for the lawyer to get all this stuff together. All these things that need to be paid for. We want to put it all up on the screen. If we rent, when we go into production, you rent production offices that you're going to need for 2 months. Now, if you rent swanky offices in Beverly Hills, that money is not going to be seen on the screen, okay? Just rent some cheap stuff in North Hollywood that's perfectly fine, got some parking, okay? You've got offices, and the money you saved will go on the screen in form of getting more days to shoot. That money can, another 2, 3, 4 days of shooting there, or paying for an expensive actor to guest star in it, or getting bigger sets, more production value. Put it on the screen.
So going back to what you said about, you know, the harder I work, the luckier I get, and that's a great quote. I forgot who said that, but it's I see it a lot in like these business quotes and things like that. Can you tell me anything from your interesting life, and I know you've been in different realms, from comedy, magic, television writing, where you felt luck really was a part of it and that you're very grateful for that? Any interesting story where you just kind of fell into it, the right place, the right time?
Well, like I said, I was on the road doing stand-up comedy, and it can be very, very difficult, which sounds, oh, poor you. You get to travel around and tell jokes. Oh, my heart bleeds for you. What's your GoFundMe campaign? And I would watch comedians on talk shows talk about, oh, I'm on the road, it's really hard. And I would just go, what do you, boo-hoo, you have a great life. But then when you do it, I performed in 48 states, Canada, England, all over the place. And after a while, it's really draining. You can't have a relationship. You can't, it's very destabilizing. So I really needed to get off the road. Emotionally, I had to get off the road. I went to go see a sitcom because a friend of mine was guest starring on the show. So I went, she goes, you want to come watch? I go, sure. So I go sit in the audience, never been to one before, didn't know the show. The show was funny, she was good in it. And there was this guy doing audience warm-up, which is the job. They hire a comedian to talk because it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to do the show. And they talk in between the scenes, and they're with the audience a lot. And this guy was terrible. He was awful. He was just annoying, and nobody liked him. And I felt bad for him as a performer, but also as a performer, I felt bad for him. My heart went out to him. As an audience member, I was just annoyed. And I thought, they're paying him to do this. I thought, So after the show ended, I said to my friend backstage, I said, hey, introduce me to the producer. She goes, okay. So I meet the producer, I said, hi, I'm David Willis, I'm a comedian. Is that your normal person who does the audience warm-up? And she rolled her eyes, the producer rolled her eyes and goes, no. And I go, look, if you try him, you have no excuse not to try me. I can't be worse, right? She laughed, I gave her my tape. She said, okay, we'll try you. And so it was lucky that my friend was on the show, and that they had a bad warm-up, and that I was there at the right place at the time, so that I got that gig. I got to get off the road, okay, and do audience warm-up for a few years, and that was my entree into that whole world. So yeah, that's lucky. I'll take it. I'll take the luck.